sports truly meets that thing called life. I hope you're having yourself a great morning this morning. I hope you woke up feeling good, but the weather's been a little bit crazy, and it's been getting people's allergies a little bit crazy. I don't know what's going on. The annoying moment of the week is Save for Friday, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, but I might have to throw an annoying moment of the week at you today with this barometric pressure, COVID, last 2 years, weather change, M. Night Shyamalan type of thing going on out there. But I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're being well. And we are inside the Cafe Kubal studios, so heat yourself up today. I know it's cool in central and upstate New York. You can go to 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse. You can also go to the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners for the drive-thru for Cafe Kubal in North Syracuse, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. With that being said, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Awesome broadcast set up for you today. Coming up first, Bethann Shapiro-Ord, the head coach of the Binghamton Bearcats women's basketball team, will join us in a second. And then we'll head to my Syracuse one-on-one conversations coming off of their 90-72 victory over Lehigh's Mountain Hawks. We'll hear from Jim Boeheim and him remembering Jake Krauthamel, as well as get into Symir Torrence. Judah Mintz joins the show for the first time ever. Justin Taylor, and I unveil my nickname for Jesse Edwards, which he gets a kick out of. In hour number 2, Darius Kelly will be joining me to speak on Syracuse football and his history there and the current team. And we'll round out the show with the ingredients to success, as we always do on a Tuesday, proudly presented by Avicolli. So, with that being said, it is my absolute honor and privilege to welcome back to the show, and I can say this because she should know this already, but one of my favorites, and that's Bethann Shapiro-Ord. I get to talk about my favorites because I'm the boss. I can't get in trouble. So, Bethann, how are we doing today?
Great. Thank you, Dan. I like being your favorite. That's awesome. And you got some good people on, so thank you.
Well, it's the positive energy. It's the type of human you are. Never forgot our conversation about your dad and about all of the things that really matter to you and your journey to come back to the Binghamton area and all of that. I mean, you've had a tremendous story, and your story is just sown throughout with love and positivity and appreciation. So I respect that, and it makes it easy. So I'm very happy and always rooting for you. And I know that you had your first game of the season here recently, and we're able to come out with a victory. We get to talk with you on the heels of the fact that your team has gotten out with a positive already, which is a great way to start the season. You had your game last night against Bloomsburg University, winning 63-46. So bring me into it. You get to be home, you get to get the victory, and you get to start the season off right.
Yeah, it was a fun night. Although, you get a little. We do a close scrimmage, and then we do a exhibition, so that we do get a little bit of the lights on experience, which I do like to do. So that first real game isn't like, for the freshmen, like, oh my gosh, we got fans, So I thought the exhibition was good, and then it helped, with Bloomsburg. They're a good team. They were shorthanded. They had, they didn't have a big group. They kind of looked like us last year, actually, with the amount of people they had. But they're tough. They are gritty, and I was proud of the way our kids handle themselves. The first quarter we did, we did a really good job. You know how it is early on in the season. You're always talking about, you might hear coaches talk about, we got to put 4 quarters together. You got to put 2 halves together for the guys. We definitely, had a little lull in the second quarter. We just started to let our offense dictate our defense. And that's not always a good thing. But I think after coming out at the half, we came out, a little bit guns blazing, and got back to what we needed to do defensively. And we really propelled some good energy and got some good scoring. And I really like this group. We're young. We got a good mixture. But I think you'll see that as we move forward.
And you spoke about, Bethann, the fact that you wanted to get them under the lights before the Bloomsburg game, and you got to have an exhibition 3 days before on Friday, November 4th against Roberts Wesleyan. What did that do for you? You got a victory 72-67, but you talked about the importance, especially for a young team, to have something before they have something. So that Roberts Wesleyan game did what for you?
Well, it got us, at first it got the young ones to get some playing time, to get some opportunity. And because it is different, you're competing real hard in practice, but when the lights come on and there's fans, it's a little different. And I think that really helped. And it was close. It was way too close than I wanted. But look, we got the W, and that was a good team as well. And when you have a team, like a different level come in, it's like, oh, we're playing a Division I team. We're going to go in, and they got nothing to lose. They're going to ball out and bring everything they got and knock down shots. And that's what a lot of them did, where we can't go to their level. We've got to raise our level and keep competing to what we need to do. So that helps show them that for this game. But we had a couple moments of that again.
That coming from Bethann Shapiro-Ord. Joining me this morning, Binghamton Bearcats women's basketball head coach. Bethann, as you look at what's coming up this season, you have your next game this Thursday, November 10th, also going to be at home against Army. And just the importance of playing some of these military schools, because I know there's more weight to that. It's going to be the day before Veterans Day. So just what you take away from that and honoring, I know they're your opponent, but there always is a background to games like this.
Yeah, I tell our kids when we play the military teams, they're preparing for like war. They're taking care of us. They're going to be tough kids. They're getting up early. They're doing all the other things that they have to do on top of schoolwork and basketball practice. So it's always going to be a tough game. But I think it'll be, at the end of the game, one thing I do like about the military, we always thank them, especially in the line. When after the game, win or lose, I always try to thank them for their service, because that's something with these young ladies are doing over there.
And then you will be coming up to a place that some people may know. It's called the Dome. And so you'll be up in Syracuse, and that'll be on Monday, November 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Felicia Leggett-Jack has taken over the program, got her first victory in her first opportunity. Your thoughts about the Syracuse connection, being able to play these teams in New York State and having Felicia on the other side?
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about team two games away, because now I have to focus on Army, but it'll be fun. I think my kids are really pumped up to go up there. I know a lot of my former players have been like, Coach, why couldn't we? And we tried, but but I'm excited that Felicia put us on the schedule. And I think it'll be a great opportunity. It's going to help us as we move forward into conference. I think we got a really good non-conference schedule that'll help us to get better for conference.
And you bring up the Conference of the America East, and just what this conference brings to the table in women's basketball, in your opinion, when we look at these teams, Bryant coming in, transferring over in this shift of realignment and whatnot, Maine, New Hampshire, NJIT, UAlbany, UMBC, Vermont, and UMass Lowell, just what this conference brings to the table, in your opinion, having been in it and gotten experience against these teams and seeing some newness to it as well.
Yeah, it's a really competitive league. We've got some really good teams in it, and it's it's not like one team is way above anyone else. Any night, you can get a win. Any night you can get somebody. So I think they're very, very good coaches in our league, and the high academic standards for our league as well. I think that's another addition to it. But it's a very competitive, very good league.
And a final note here, Bethann. You described the team. You talked about having some youth on the team. Words that would describe this team's culture and environment overall, just what you've taken away from them, why you're excited about this season, why, because you can only focus on the inside out. Yeah, you prep, you watch film and whatnot. Like you said, you don't want to get ahead of yourself down the season. You take each opponent as they come. But controlling the controllables, what does this team present for you this year for Binghamton that you think is so great, that you're so excited about, that you can really key in on and say, like, this is our identity? Or maybe we don't know that yet. Where are your thoughts on that?
Well, it is early on, but I really like how some of my leaders, my best players, have stepped up in a more leadership role as far as communicating better, and putting young kids on their, under their wings and really getting excited for each other. It's, our culture is family first, and it is a process, and we talk about controlling the controllables all the time. You give your best effort. Our practices have been very competitive. I mean, I have a good number right now, which, knock on wood, we got to keep that. And any given night, someone can step up. And, when freshmen come in, they feel like we should be, they're used to being the best players, and we should play a lot. And they're not used to maybe having some role spots or different roles from what they're used to from high school. Because as we know, at the next level, it's quicker, stronger, bigger. And some of these kids are realizing that, like, early on. Genevieve Coleman last year, one of our bigs went down, and she got a lot of minutes early, which gave her so much experience. So now as a sophomore, she comes in and she's doing good. But the young ones need to understand, like, and this is all across the country. When you get your number called, you be ready. And like our first game, our freshman Cam Fiera, she didn't get a lot of minutes in the exhibition, but yesterday I called her to play a different position that she hadn't even played really very much, and she came in the second half and was just a beast. I mean, she went in and she did her job. She had 12 points. She had 2 steals. She made her free throws. I mean, she just brought it to another level. And then our other young lady, who's a redshirt freshman, Jaden Welts, brought another level to our older kids. And it's fun to see that any given night we could have some other kids step up.
That coming here from Bethann Shapiro-Ord, giving us a little look into the team coming off of their first victory and their first outing that counted here for the Binghamton Bearcats women's basketball team. I know we only had you for a few minutes today, but always good to have you. Looking forward to having you back, Bethann, and hold down the Southern Tier for us, all right?
All right, thank you, Dan. You guys have a great day, and I hope I didn't do too much for Coach Boeheim to follow me, right?
Hey, listen, he's following, like I said, one of my favorites. So
tell him I said hi and good luck. He had a big win last night.
All right, well, take care of yourself. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dan.
See you. That coming from Bethann Shapiro-Ord here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. The Binghamton Bearcats getting their first victory in their first outing of the season up against Bloomsburg, and they will have an opportunity to face Army in just a couple days on Thursday, November 10th, as we spoke about that. That game will be at home, and then they'll travel an hour up 81 as they will head into the Dome to face off against Syracuse University on Monday, November 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So looking forward to seeing Bethann Shapiro-Ord and her team come up and face off against Felicia Leggett, Jack, and company here in our community of Syracuse, New York. On the men's side of things, hopefully we'll have him on the show soon as well. He's no stranger to the broadcast. Head coach Lavelle Sanders has his team 1-0 as they got their victory last night, and they were at home, part of a doubleheader. So they played Cazenovia College, defeating Cazenovia 87-56 to start off their season 1-0. So a big shout out to Lavelle Sanders and the Binghamton Bearcats men's basketball team. They'll be back in action on the road in Poughkeepsie, New York on Saturday, November 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time at Marist College. They will be back home a week from that Saturday on November 19th against Sacred Heart University after they face off against the University of Maryland on the road in College Park, Maryland on Tuesday, November 15th. So a lot of great stuff coming up for both teams. Appreciate them tremendously and can't thank them enough for being a part of the show. So big shout out to Bethann Shapiro-Ord, Lavelle Sanders, and the Binghamton Bearcats, as well as Binghamton University as a whole. With that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. Jim Boeheim, my Q&A with Jim on I liked the lineup last night in the first game of the season that counted for the Syracuse Orange. I liked the lineup against Lehigh when they put in Symir Torrence and Judah Mintz together. Put both of their point guards in, let them play off each other. I really liked that lineup. I asked Jim about it, and I also spoke with Jim about Jake Krauthamel, the former AD of Syracuse University, who yesterday passed away at the age of 84. And so I'd like to take a moment of silence right now for Jake Krauthamel as we remember him. So I thank you for that, folks. And we will be speaking about Jake Krauthamel when we come back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. For those of you that didn't know him, he was around for a very long. He was somebody whose name gets brought up, and when I'm talking with people in different circles, I get to hear about Jake Krauthamel. I never knew him personally. Pray and hope for his soul to be safe and sound in heaven, and for him to be safe and sound up there, his loved ones to be safe and sound here on earth, and for his loved ones that passed on to greet him with open arms and love. So all good things for Jake Krauthamel, for all of his loved ones, and for every life he touched. And God bless to all involved. And thank you, God, as always, for keeping us close, because dying you destroyed our death, and rising you restored our life. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll come back. Jim Boeheim and I will talk about Jake Krauthamel. We will also discuss Judah Mintz and Symir Torrence and what he thinks about that lineup, and then we'll get into my one-on-one conversations following the first game of the season, a 90-72 victory for Syracuse at home in the Dome for the first time ever as the JMA Wireless Dome, getting a win there and doing that against the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. We'll hear from Symir Torrence in my conversation with him, Judah Mintz, who will join the show for the first time ever. I'm really excited about that, as well as Justin Taylor, and we'll hear from Jesse Edwards, and I get to unveil my nickname for Jesse. And if anybody, so now you know, on the show, Jesse heard, okay, so for Isaac Elford heard it first at Tortora and Elford. So Isaac, we work together and very close. And so Isaac heard it first. Then I told Jesse, then I'm telling you. If anybody else says it, be my police and give me that copyright TM, baby. I got it. Jesse Edwards' nickname gets unveiled today in the first hour of the show. Then Darius Kelly will be joining us in hour number 2 to shift gears from Syracuse basketball to football, and then we'll round out the show with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's, which is open Tuesday through Sunday for for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Make sure you make your way over there. I was thinking about breakfast pizza. I got hungry. So make sure you get yourself over to Avicolli's and support local. Tuesday through Sunday, lunch, dinner, and drinks, and of course, always drink responsibly. You will find them on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Walking distance from Liverpool High School. And we do our Liverpool Athletics show every single month on site, on location at Avicolli's. Always look forward to seeing you out there. So with that being said, you'll hear from Avicolli's now, and we'll be right back at it after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Avicolli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicolli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicolli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Always happy to be here inside of these Cafe Kubal studios, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, as well as on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through that you can find there in North Syracuse. So make sure you head out to Cafe Kubal today. Support local. I'm going out to Cafe Kubal today because I don't just have these beautiful partners in our community. I support them. So Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, and Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, PB&J's Lunchbox, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, as well as Honda City of Liverpool, Avicolli's, Chick-fil-A Watertown, Pizza Man. I go to every single one of these places. And I rock my Bryan and Stratton Syracuse gear all over the country, as well as my Lemoyne Dolphins gear. So I put my money where my mouth is. I bought half the store at Witty Wicks during their sale over the weekend for their anniversary, and my mom bought the other half. So not only do we have these fantastic partners, but I believe in the logos that we put up on this screen. And they're very important to me. They're important to our community. They're important to the vibrancy of our community, to the success and the progression of us. So thank you for those that support our incredible partners, because to me, they're more than just businesses. They're good people, and I will always support good people. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, it's time to get into my conversation with JB. So definitely excited to have Jim Boeheim. We had an opportunity to speak last night coming off of the game, and him and I got to speak in the post-game press conference about what I liked the Symir Torrence, Judah Mintz opportunity of them both being out there together, both point guards on the team, but seeing them in a lineup, because Jim got to try a lot of different things, and he said, he was like, listen, we played 12 guys who scored 90 points, right? He's like, we could have done more. Yeah, could have played 6 or 7 guys, done some other things, but they wanted to get everybody a look. 11 of the 12 players that got on the court yesterday for Syracuse scored at least one basket, right? Had at least a couple points. Munir Hima, I want to congratulate all of these guys. Munir Hima had his first collegiate block in this game, in his first ever game. First collegiate block against Lehigh, and he had 2 of them on the same possession. So he had his first block and his second block back to back. Then he had his first rebound and second rebound back to back, 2 offensive rebounds, and the second one leading to his putback, and so getting his first points off of his rebound. So shout out to Munir Hima. Then we got to see Justin Taylor get his first points, a turnaround jumper. Right after that, we got to see Quadir Copeland, I believe, get his first as well, and I think he finished with 6 points in the game overall. And then we got to see Judah Mintz in his first ever game that counts for the Syracuse Orange. He went out there, scored 16 points in 26 minutes. And some of those shots, like getting himself open, turning around, doing different things that they were trying to work in the exhibition against SNU, Southern New Hampshire, some of those shots that made him around. So credit to Judah for that. And so that was nice to see as well, because he was getting his shot off and creating shots for himself, just some of them weren't dropping in the exhibition. So that was another nice thing to see. And then looking at some of the other new faces on this team, they were able to get out there. Peter Carey, he was the only player to not score of the 12 that were out there. However, he did get his first collegiate block and first collegiate rebound. So that was huge to see as well. Malik Brown scored his first points in his first game. Chris Bell scored his first points in his first game. We got to see John Bolzak get out there, returning redshirt junior for Syracuse, and he was able to score and bounce around his first free throw attempt to go in. Jesse Edwards had a double-double of 18 points and 11 rebounds. So there was that. I think it was 19 points, 11 rebounds, actually. So that was great to see as well. So a lot of good things, right? A lot of good things that happened for the team. Symir Torrence got in double figures with 10 points. Joe Girard III, he got after it, had a nice 3 to beat the first half buzzer, which was great. Last shot that got off because they weren't able to get a shot off. Benny Williams got himself involved and got on the scoreboard as well. So Syracuse's team overall looking pretty darn good in this first game to get some action and get these guys out here. And the great thing about it is all of the new faces did something positive. Chris Bell, Malik Brown, Peter Carey, Quadir Copeland, as I mentioned, Munir Hima, Judah Mintz, Justin Taylor, everyone did something. All of them except for Peter Carey scored, but Peter Carey still did some things positive on the stat sheet, like grab a rebound and get a block. So nobody showed up zeros in this game, which I want to make note of that. So to me, I think it was definitely great to see these players out there, to see the new faces and see them get after it the way that they did. And looking at that, we'll have the opportunity to speak with Judah Mintz in just a little bit. And we're also going to speak with Justin Taylor again. He was part of my Syracuse Orange men's basketball preview that we did going into this game yesterday. So you'll hear from Justin Taylor again. You'll hear from Judah Mintz for the first time ever on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So we're making history of those over 3,000 voices that you've heard. We get to add Judah Mintz to those. And then Jesse Edwards, who's been with me for a very long time, coming from Amsterdam. And I got a very fun nickname for him. And then my guy, Sy Torrence. Love having Sy on the show. Always fun. Always great to see him smile. Just a good guy. And love being around him. Appreciate him and his entire family. So excited for Syracuse, his younger brother, who plays wide receiver for Syracuse, who will be vying for a back-to-back championship for sectionals in the Dome this weekend on Sunday, November 13th. So very, very excited about that, to know that both brothers get to be in the Dome this week-ish, so to speak, Monday to Sunday. So I'm very excited for that, and I'm sure Cy and the fam will be in attendance for that. So looking forward to all those great things coming up, and we're going to start things off with my Syracuse basketball Q&As by speaking with the head of this team first and foremost, and that is Jim Boeheim. Jim Boeheim, someone who has been with Syracuse from the beginning, played with Syracuse, and then after being a student athlete playing on this team, has now been the head coach of this program for 47 seasons. 47 seasons, folks. Think about how many things have happened in almost 5 decades. 47 seasons. This man has been the leader of the Syracuse Orange, this being year number 47, and I give him all of his wins. You can't erase history. So to me, Jim Boeheim is not a 1,000 winner. He's more than that, with all due respect. So very, very much appreciate everything that he's done, and excited to have Jim Boeheim and our conversation here this morning. We got a couple different things in after the game. And so these are his thoughts on the Symir Torrence, Judah Mintz lineup that I really liked yesterday when he got to try a lot of different things. Jim, having Mintz and Symir together, just what you took away from them out there at the same time tonight?
Who?
Symir and Judah Mintz.
Well, they can play together. Symir, I think, doing a really good job, really good defensively, and doing some really good things on offense as well. He's a veteran player. He's going to be in there. He's going to play. I'm very happy with what he's done, what Drew's done, what Joe's done. Those 3 guys have, really done what we wanted them to do, and what we asked them to do, what we wanted to do. We played a lot of guys tonight. The score could have been a whole different score. We're not trying to win by a certain number of points. We're trying to get some looks at guys. Quadier's he is a good passer, but he's trying to do things you can't do in college, and he's going to have to learn. Take some time. But again, I think Quadier really did a good job. He did what we needed to do coming off the bench, and the league was physical and rebounds. Good defensive player. He sets good screens and gets to the basket area and finishes around there. So again, overall, Lehigh's pretty good. I think they'll have a good year. It was a really good game for us. We did some good things, and we got a chance to play everybody. We played 6 or 7 guys, but could have been a different score. But I was glad we get an opportunity to get guys out there.
So that coming from Jim Boeheim and giving me a lot of thoughts about other players as well. I asked about Judah Mintz and Symir Torrence and that lineup where he put them both out together on the floor at the same time, and he went into Quadier Copeland. He talked about what I said. He said, we played 6 or 7 players, it'd be a different score. They weren't looking to run the score up. They were looking to get different looks and see different guys and try different things. And these are the games where it's important when somebody says, oh, these games don't matter. Lehigh doesn't matter. I mean, we all know Colgate matters, right? They hadn't won in, 54 years or something like that. So all these games matter, and they all hold weight. And when you're trying to figure out what looks good and what fits, it's important to have games where you can see different things and try different things, right? You don't want to be trying lineups, in January against Duke. I mean, that's not what you want to be doing. You don't want to not know who you are a couple months into the season or deep in the heart of the ACC. So it's good to do it now. It's good to get the kinks out. And it's no disrespect to the teams that they're going up against. I'm not saying these teams provide no threat. There's teams that can get going and get after it. I mean, we saw SNU have a great run in the second half in the exhibition game against Syracuse in the Dome, and they cut it to 10. And they, Syracuse's offense looked horrible, and nothing was happening, right? So I think that ultimately, when we look at this, you gotta really break it down and say to yourself, okay, what are you using these games for, and what do you want to get out of these games? And I think that, Jim, 47 years of doing it, I know that people all have an opinion, and I know, you constructively criticize. I've constructively criticized, and I've been constructively criticized, but I respect him as a coach, that, the class that he's brought in, and being a little bit open-minded here to kind of seeing what works and how things can get done. I mean, this could be a new era for Syracuse basketball that might look a little bit different and might find success a different way. So I'm excited to see what we're going to get out of this team with Jim Boeheim leading the charge. And then I had the opportunity to speak with him about Jake Krauthamel, the former AD at Syracuse University, who just passed away yesterday at the age of 84, and passing away on Monday, November 7th. And Boeheim did take a pause in between here, so I did shut off my recorder for a second. In the midst of all of this, between the two pieces, as you'll hear them both, that's why one will maybe start and stop. He did say that if you were in a fight, this is, Jake's the guy that you'd want fighting, for you, like on your side. So this is what he had to say about Jake Krauthamel. Jim, you brought up Jake Krauthamel in your opening address, just the impact that he had on you personally.
Well, he was great. He just let me coach and be worried about football. I love him. He didn't go to games, so it was good. He's a football guy, and he did an unbelievable job here for football and other sports too, not just football. But he allowed us to do what we thought we needed to do, and he was great at it. He was a great AD.
So he said he was great at it. He was a great AD, and then went on to say this.
History has not been written at all well. All right, we'll see.
And he made note there. He said history has not essentially been good to Jake. That the story of Jake Krauthamel, the history has not been kind to him, and he had talked about that in his opening address as well. Speaking on the fact that he just felt like the media, and again, you say media, Jim says media, whatever, but I never said a bad word about Jake Krauthamel. I didn't know Jake Krauthamel. And like I said, I talked to a lot of people in the Syracuse University circuit, right? And over the years, I heard his name all the time, but I never spoke with Jake. Not that I didn't want to. I did. And he kind of always seemed larger than life to me. And to hear Jim talk about it and say, listen, this guy really didn't get treated well by history, and he didn't get handled well by the media. And, that he did more than maybe he got credit for. So, he was AD at Syracuse from 1977 to 2005. He was a founding member for the Big East Conference, helped guide Syracuse there, as well as the construction of the Dome, which began in 1979 and officially opened in 1980. Had a national title in men's basketball in 2003, 9 national titles in men's lacrosse, 14 bowl appearances, 22 overall Big East championships in 27 years. Now, current AD at Syracuse, John Wildhack, said, quote, Jake dedicated his life to intercollegiate athletics and was one of the best and most successful athletic directors of his era. The success of the Orange programs during his tenure speaks to his behind-the-scenes leadership, guidance, and expertise. Jake was a driving force in the creation and success of the Big East Conference, which was among the preeminent basketball conferences for decades. Syracuse Athletics family extends its deepest condolences to Jake's wife, Carol, their daughters, and their entire family, end quote. So he did play, he played football when he was a student athlete at Dartmouth, second team selection for All Ivy 25th anniversary squad. He led Dartmouth in rushing for 3 seasons there. Was drafted by the Los Angeles Chargers in 1960, ended up signing with the Dallas Cowboys, and then went on to the AFL's Boston Patriots at the time, believe it or not. He also spent 3 years in the U.S. Navy, and he was a football coach at Mercersburg Academy in Pennsylvania, and then was on the coaching staff with Bob Blackman in Dartmouth in 1965 when he returned there. He was the head coach at Dartmouth from 1971 to 77, where he had a 41-20-2 record, almost 70% winning percentage, and won or shared 3 Ivy League championships in 1971, 72, and 73. And right after being the head coach at Dartmouth, his alma mater, he came to Syracuse and was the AD from 1977 to 2005, as I had mentioned before. So we remember Jake Krauthamel. We remember the incredible logo that Syracuse had. I was just talking about it. The cut logo, that logo with the jut and whatnot. And I love that logo. That logo was here when Jake Krauthamel was here. And, I mean, you think about it. The Dome, the Big East. Without Jake Krauthamel, where the heck is Syracuse? They were independent, you know? So, I look forward to getting to tell his story through the people that have come to know him over the years. And I just pray and I hope I have the opportunity to tell his story with as many layers as I possibly can. Because I want to remember him. I want to remember the person that took care of my hometown. And, you know, somebody who cared enough to make these incredibly ballsy moves. I don't know a better word. I mean, it was ballsy, right? We're going to start a conference. We're going to build a dome. Imagine if that didn't happen. I know there's other people that were part of these teams. I'm not going to take away from that. There's other people working with Jake Krauthamel, but I don't want to take away from Jake Krauthamel either. And according to Jim Boeheim, it seems like there has been something taken away from him. So I look forward to tell his story. I appreciate Jim for answering my questions because he did not seem very appreciative of the nature in which Jake Krauthamel was handled by society. So, my best to Jake in heaven, and my best to Carol and all of his loved ones here on earth, and to all of his loved ones up in heaven that he gets to reunite with. May you all be together, even in death, because like I said, dying you destroyed our death, rising you restored our life. Jesus destroyed death a long time ago. I don't know why people are so afraid of it. And Jake Krauthamel, whoever wants to take credit for your work, you live on. And thank you for the good things that you did. I appreciate it. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, it's back to my one-on-one conversations with the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team following their victory over Lehigh, 90-72 at home in the Dome. Their first ever win in the JMA named Wireless Dome. But not, obviously, their first win overall. Many have come in the Dome. This one came with the new JMA Wireless, and Justin Taylor will be coming up next. He got to play his first ever game in the Dome, and he scored. And we'll talk about his play and more after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Café Cubal needs. Café Cubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Café Cubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here. Café Cubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York. And you can also find them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location of North Syracuse. Inside of these Café Cubal studios, you see, folks, there is a rhyme and a reason to everything that is up here. And there are a lot of things coming to you from Witty Wicks. We have these awesome pieces here. Great ornaments, but you can really hang these all year round, right? Because it's not technically, I mean, it can be a Christmas ornament, but it can also just be on display. These upstate, awesome things that you can grab from them. I'll call it the ornament, but I mean, these are things that I just put a little, put a little screw out there and put it, or a little tack or whatever, just hang it right on the wall coming into the house. The upstate here, I love these. And we also have the upside down light that's right outside of Coleman's here in central and upstate New York. You can see that. So we have the light that you can check out, and I love that. I love just driving by the street, because you're like, no matter how many times I drive by it, I'm like, that's not real. We don't have that light. And you like double take it, you triple take it, like, do we really have an upside down light? But it's one of the things that's part of our flavor here in central New York, so I love it. And we have the upstate New York one that you can get as well. There are plenty of clothes that have this on it, long sleeve, short sleeve, sweatshirts, whatnot. So you can get the upstate New York logo on your clothes, and you can get it for an ornament as well. So we got all of these just sitting here in the studio that you could take home. The 315 Home Sweet Home sign. We have the Cuse Home Sweet Home and the 315 Syracuse with the new dome underneath it. So you see all this stuff behind me. A lot of it has to do with Witty Wicks, and they've decked us out in such a great way. They can deck your home, office, studio, whatever you got going on, deck it out with the awesome people from Witty Wicks. Local company, locally made products, and local loving products, right? All the Q stuff and everything that we got to show you. So you walk in there, you're going to find stuff that has to do with central and upstate New York you're not going to find anywhere else. So make sure you go out to Witty Wicks today. And as owner Aubrey says, thank you for making them your place. So that being said, speaking of being here in our community, we continue on the conversations. My Syracuse one-on-ones following the Orange defeating Lehigh in their opening game of the 2022-23 season at home in the Dome. I was on site on location for this game, by the grace of God, and had the opportunity to speak with Justin Taylor coming off the game. In his first ever collegiate game, Justin Taylor was able to get on the scoreboard in a turnaround jump shot. Big shout out to him for that. And Justin Taylor played half the game here. So some good things going on for him, and happy to see that he got out there and got to do this and got to get involved for as long as Boeheim put him out there for. The 6'6" guard, Justin Taylor, at the end of this game, taking a look at him by the numbers. Justin was able to, like I said, get a few points out there and do some things for the Syracuse Orange. And going back and looking at this game, ultimately in his time out there on the floor for the Orange, Justin ended up with 20 minutes overall and a couple points on that turnaround jump shot. He also had 4 rebounds in the game and only 1 foul, and he had 3 steals in the game. So here's my conversation with the freshman guard, Justin Taylor.
Well, you got your college debut out, so your thoughts coming off of it?
Feeling good. Obviously, a lot of very amped up before the game, just ready to get out there. Obviously, definitely a little different than the exhibition games, but just a lot of excitement. Feeling good, got the win, so good to get one under our belt, and then got a good week of practice this week before we play Colgate. So,
in your college debut, you got on the scoreboard. Just what you can say about the turnaround jump shot that gave you your first points in college?
Yeah, obviously was struggling a little bit, but coaches, players, they instill a lot of confidence in me to keep on shooting. So eventually one's got to go in. So the turnaround felt good, and then obviously hope to shoot it better in the future games. But obviously felt good to get one in. So yeah.
I think you played half the game minutes wise. So your takeaways from being out there and Boeheim trusting you and at least get some good minutes out there.
Right. I think that's the main thing. Just him, trusting me to be out there. Even if I'm not scoring the ball, just impacting the game, rebounding the ball, making smart plays. So obviously just trying to do my part for the team to win. So doing everything I can, and hopefully coach obviously I think likes what he saw out there and just keep on improving. So.
And then for Judah Mintz, for him to come out here in this freshman class with you all and to not only start this game but come up with 16 points in 26 minutes, just what you can say his impact may be this season.
Right, I mean, that's who he is. He's going to be able to impact the game in many ways. Obviously score the ball, penetrate, kick, just facilitate. I think he can do a lot offensive end, and defensively he's going to be super active. That's just who he is. He's a dog, so he's going to be huge for us down the road throughout the whole season. So he's been great so far.
Munir Hema, another new face here coming as a transfer, back-to-back blocks and back-to-back offensive rebounds, and then had his first points when he got those offensive rebounds. So just what you could say about what he did inside.
Yeah, no, he's going to be awesome for us. He's going to be huge, just presence down low. The back-to-back blocks, that's obviously, you don't see that very often. So, even if he's not getting blocks, he's still altering shots and, making a presence down low. So, he's going to be huge for us, especially, when Jesse comes out, if he has foul trouble or whatever. Munir can definitely come in and impact the game for us and help us out.
That coming from Justin Taylor in our conversation following the 90-72 victory over Lehigh, the Mountain Hawks, who came into the Dome last night. So Justin Taylor getting his first points ever as a college basketball player on a turnaround jump shot on the right side of the free throw line, and was able to get, like I said, 3 steals and 4 rebounds. So first rebound, first steal, first points in his first game collegiately. Shout out to him for a little bit of personal history. And coming up next, Symir Torrence is going to be joining the broadcast here in my one-on-one conversation with Cy. And I always love having Cy on the show and appreciate him so very much. Love that he's a local guy and love the conversation him and I got to have after he announced that he was transferring back to his home. So a lot of great stuff with Symir Torrence, and it's coming up right now.
Coming out here and getting the win is obviously important. You were able to get 10 points in this game, 6 rebounds, got some assists as well. Just what you take away from your overall play.
I mean, this is what I do. Just me as a player, I can do it all. And I just go out there and play my role, get guys involved, also get myself involved. But the key thing that I put in my mind is just to do winning plays, make the easy play, and encourage guys. That's really all it is. We don't have a young group, but everybody says we have 6 freshmen, but they're really mature, and they're really not freshmen to me in my eyes. So I'm excited.
Why is that? Why do you not see them as freshmen?
Just because of the competitive nature in them, what they bring. in each and every practice, the preparation that they do. Just they don't do things as freshmen. They're doing things as veterans, and that's going to prove on the court.
You got to see a lot of different mix-ups here tonight with 12 different guys playing. So just what you can say about when you were out there with Judah and what that was like to have both of you out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to play with Judah. He's a fantastic scorer, fantastic facilitator, and I just love playing with him. We work off each other really well, and can't wait to keep going with that just because how dangerous we can be.
How do you describe the offense when it's you out there, when it's him out there, and then it's when it's both of you out there?
Either one of us out there, we're just going to play our game, no matter what that is, depending on what the defense is giving us. But we're just going out there to make winning plays.
Final note, Jesse Edwards and what he can do inside, the type of force he can be.
Phenomenal. The performance that we saw from him today is what we expect from him every day. I'm just so proud of him just because how he came out this year and off of the injury that he's had. I'm excited for him this season.
That coming from Symir Torrence. Very excited about Jesse Edwards, and we should all be. Jesse getting out there and looking really good. I mean, honestly, in this game, there was nobody that was going to match him height-wise, and they just dump it inside, dump it inside, dump it inside. I mean, that's what they needed to do, and I think they should have done more of it. I think the man could have had 30 in this game, so I'm excited to see them look for him, and I had the opportunity to speak with the other point guard on this side of the matchup of the tandem that I really liked in this game, and that was Judah Mintz and Symir Torrence being out at the same time on the floor together for a portion of this matchup. And here's what Judah had to say, and I'm also happy to welcome Judah Mintz to the show for the first time ever. It's the first time we've ever gotten to speak with Judah, so welcome to Judah, and excited to make history here on Wake Up Call.
16 points in 26 minutes, just how you assess yourself in your college debut?
I think I did pretty well today. I feel like I had other playmaking plays that I missed, but overall I think I played pretty well. I think our team did pretty well executing our game plan to feed Jesse early, and it ended up working.
How important is that to make sure you're looking for Jesse this season?
It's vital for our team, really. Jesse's one of the best bigs in our conference and really in the country in our eyes. So making sure he gets touches early, making him comfortable in the game, and letting the game flow through him early is going to be important. It's going to open up everything else for us.
Symir was talking about the fact that he doesn't see this freshman class as a freshman class.
Yeah.
How would you describe being a part of this class? Because he doesn't think that you guys are newbies at all and how you practice and get after it.
I would say, really, I mean, we're young, we're goofy, and we like to joke around, but on the court, I feel like we have the confidence and the ability to play with anybody, and that's how we're going to approach every game. Lehigh, older guys, it's not really going to affect us, the age difference, but just learning and growing as players in the college basketball level is going to help us out.
The lineup with you and Cy, what do you like about that?
Really just being able to play off the ball. It gives me a break from running the offense. It gives me a chance to show my shot-making ability as well. So Cy really gives me a relief. Playing point guard can be tiring sometimes, so when Cy comes in, it's a little breather for me. But overall, I just love how we play together and how we're able to affect the game on the defensive side as well.
That coming from Judah Mintz once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. 16 points in 26 minutes in his collegiate debut. So very much appreciate what he's been doing and thank him so much for coming to Syracuse. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm very excited to see the maturation process of Judah Mintz. Now it's time, and I've been waiting very impatiently for this, to unveil my new nickname to Jesse Edwards. I unveiled it to him, technically to Isaac Elford first. Then I unveiled it to Jesse Edwards. And I said to Jesse, are you cool if I called you this? Well, you get to hear the nickname I have for Jesse Edwards. I'm unveiling it on today's show. I know the media, not me, because I don't believe in this stuff and I don't have time to listen to other people's stuff, but stealing is a norm for a lot of people in the media. So if you see this anywhere else, you know where it came from first, because you're going to hear me talk to Jesse about it. I'm very excited about this nickname. I can't wait to share it with you. Here's my one-on-one conversation with the man that went off in this opening game. Looking good, feeling good. And I've been waiting for the big man to get after it in Syracuse for a while because I love watching it. 18 points. I thought he had 19, though. 18 points, 11 rebounds, double-double in this game for Jesse Edwards. Here's our conversation and the moment in history where you get to hear my nickname for him, and then I'll tell you what it means.
Double-double to start things out for the season, 18 and 11. Just your thoughts on your playing side?
Yeah, it felt good tonight. Could do all the things I wanted to do and come out. So, yeah, it just feels really good to be able to do all that. And then, yeah, for me, I'm already, thinking about the next game right now. Yeah, make sure we keep doing what we do right.
One personal foul for a big man, and the 9:14 mark of the second half bring me into staying out of foul trouble.
I guess, yeah. I guess that's something to celebrate for me. So, nah, it's something last year we worked on a lot. This summer we did again, and then it's not always going to be one. It might be 2 or 3. Maybe I'll get fouled out one game or 2. Hopefully not too many. But yeah, staying down, no stupid fouls. Make sure you just do what you're supposed to do and make it hard for them without fouling.
I spoke with Symir Torrence and Judah Mintz, 2 guys that are running the point, and they talked about the importance of making sure they get you the ball, just what it means to you that they see you offensively as a big part of this season.
Yeah, that's a great feeling. When your teammates give you their confidence, it just it gives a lot of energy. They've been really good at the point so far, both of them. I mean, I already knew Sy could do what he does. He's always spectacular. So the fact that Judah is coming in and right at that level, it's just it makes it a lot easier to do my job. If I get inside, I can look out for the passes. They'll be there. They'll be cutting. Yeah.
You had 3 blocks. Munir Hema had 2 blocks on the same time down on the floor. Just what it's like to have him behind you.
Great, man. Yeah, he came in and he got everybody hyped out with those 2 in a row. He's the same in practice. He's a tough guy to score against. So yeah, to have him behind me feels good. It's always important to have a solid backups. Him and Pete are both great. So yeah.
I want to tell you this really quick. I'm saying when you block shots now, I'm calling it the red light district, and they got to get out. Is that okay?
You can say whatever, man. That's cool with me.
So the red light district, it has now been unveiled. You now know that when they come into Jesse Edwards town and they get blocked, stuffed, stopped, I'm going to say it's the red light district and you're not welcome here. So that's the thing now. The red light district is what I'm calling Jesse Edwards inside. When he goes off offensively, defensively, the red light district, baby. That's what it's called because he hails from Amsterdam. So that's what we're calling it. That's what we got. That's that real, and it just came to you after it came to Jesse Edwards and Isaac Elford technically first. So with that being said, we'll take a step aside for a fast break. We're going to shift gears from the court to the field. You heard from Bethann Shapiro-Ord as the Binghamton women's basketball team won their home and season opener last night. Shout out to Lavelle Sanders for the men's team in Binghamton that also won their season and home opener last night. You got to hear from Jim Boeheim speak with me about Symir Torrence and Judah Mintz on the floor at the same time, something that I'm excited to see and interested to see this season. Also to remember Jake Krauthamel, the Syracuse AD from 1977 to 2005, that passed away yesterday at the age of 84. And we had the opportunity to go one-on-one with Symir Torrence, Justin Taylor, Judah Mintz for the first time ever on the show, and Jesse Edwards. We'll take a step aside. My guy Darius Kelly, who played DB for Syracuse for a couple seasons back there, pre-Dino era. We'll talk with Darius after this on Syracuse's current team, his thoughts on how the games have been going so far, his advice for the team, remembering his time at Syracuse, and so much more. A lot coming up with Darius Kelly right after this fast break as we head into hour number 2 on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal studios.
Cafe Cubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cubal needs. Cafe Cubal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsicuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York. Coming to you, fall 2022. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. I don't know what y'all have been doing Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time, but if you haven't been here, I don't see how that was a good decision for your day. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate people all over the West Coast, the East Coast, the Midwest that hang out with us where sports meets that thing called life every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time. And of course, there's plenty of different ways to listen to us worldwide, wherever you are in and out of this country. You can go to youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all /Wake Up Call DT, and find us at any one of those outlets. So make sure you do that today. You can also find us on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, where the MixLR live internet streaming radio feed is embedded. And you can find us on facebook.com/livenowdt. Like I said, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York. You will also find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location of North Syracuse, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', you heard from Bethann Shapiro-Ord and the Binghamton Bearcats women's basketball head coach following their victory to start off the season, their season and home opener that happened last night, getting a victory over Bloomsburg and getting set to face off against Army before coming to the Dome to face off against Syracuse. And then you just heard from the Syracuse Orange in my Q&A with Jim Boeheim, the head coach in his 47th season, as well as my conversations with Symir Torrence, Judah Mintz for the first time ever, as well as hearing from Justin Taylor and Jesse Edwards, getting my nickname of the Red Light District because he's the big man. He likes to keep people out of there, and he's from Amsterdam. So that has led us now to Darius Kelly as we go from the court to the field. Darius Kelly, one of my favorite people in Syracuse Orange football history. One of the guys that was always smiling. We've always gotten to rep about life, talk about a lot of different things. He's been there for me. I would like to hope that I've been there for him, and makes me laugh. Definitely a humble guy, a good guy, the type of person you'd want in your corner. So, and the only person that I've ever done a live conversation with that was walking away from a coyote while we were talking. So, a lot of great stuff coming up here with Darius Kelly, and I can't thank him enough for being a part of the show. So with that being said, it is my honor and my privilege to welcome back Syracuse Orange defensive back alum and my friend, Mr. Darius Kelly, to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Darius, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Dan. Good morning. I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to hear from you again.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time. There's a lot of things have happened. Nothing big, you're a dad now, not a big deal, right? So, just have a kid and, doing some things career-wise and whatnot. Catch everybody up on the life of Darius Kelly, because you've obviously played the game of football, you've coached the game of football, you have now moved into another chapter in your professional life, and you're a father now, and I'd love to share that with the world and what's going on with you.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, I have a 16-month-old son. His name's Bo. So, it's already, got the football name going for him right off the bat. So that's been a joy. I mean, he's a great kid to be around. Probably, you think I smile a lot, this kid. I mean, he's smiling, honestly, every time he comes in contact with somebody, every time he sees somebody in the room, he just literally lights up the room. Bigger smile than I ever could have, and he's just been a joy in all of our lives, to be honest. And it's just great to have him, and I just can't wait to see him grow up and see the man that he's going to become. And so that part of my life has definitely been awesome going forward. I just can't wait to keep growing as a father, keep growing as a mentor in his life as well. And so I'm excited for that part of my life. And like you mentioned, I've been coaching for some time. I actually moved up from the Tucson area. Last time we spoke, I think we probably spoke about under or over 2 years ago. I was coaching at the junior college down there in Tucson. And I moved up to the Phoenix area, took an opportunity. And, now just, training and working out, athletes up here and moved into the commercial real estate world. And, in that aspect, for a company called CoStar, doing data and analytics and doing that side of things. But, life's been good. Life's been really good, just taking care of myself mentally, physically, doing all those things where, I can continue to be a better man and be a better dad and provide for my family and myself and keep myself happy and keep going things forward. But life's been good, Dan. I'm happy where I'm at and happy with everything that I'm doing. And like I said, I'm just going to continue to grow and be the mentor and be the best dad and be the best son and brother and cousin, uncle to everybody else around me. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, man, and congratulations. I'm so happy for you for this and for the opportunity. I mean, you never know when it's going to come, right? they people say, oh, you try to prepare, but you can't prepare. So I'm not a dad yet to a human. I got my awesome dog Lily, but I have not had that birth of a child moment for me. I've never experienced that. So what can you tell me about the moment? I want to go into the moment you found out you're going to be a dad, and then I want you to take me to the moment that it happened and you're in the hospital and, oh my gosh, here we go. Because they say you can never prepare for it. You never know when it's coming. So bring me in, paint a picture for the people out there. It's about positivity. And I know people are out there today. It's election day and everybody's angry and this person's on that side, that person's on that side. I'm bringing positivity. On election day, we're not talking about the elections. Go out and vote, people. I'm going to tell you that. Go out and vote. Vote your conscience. Vote your mind. Do your research. Understand who you're voting for. Don't let people just push you in a direction. Don't be peer pressured into anything. It never leads to good results. And make sure you go out and vote. I tell people all the time, I don't care if you agree with me or don't agree with me voting wise, just go out and vote. So do that. That is my PSA. But beyond that, I want to talk about positive stuff today, right? Everybody's out there screaming and picketing. We're going to talk about being a dad and what it's like to have a kid. So bring me into the moment you found out that it was happening for you. And it's the one thing you're not going to see on CNN or any of these things, but talking about dads and positivity. So bring me into being a dad, the moment you found out, and then did you have like that moment when like there's the baby and they hand the here the bow gets handed to you and it's like, hey man, when you leave today, you have to take this baby. So bring me into what that was like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when I first found out, I was extremely surprised, but I'll say that the best moment I'd say is when he pops out of there and he just comes out and it's just, that I can't describe the moment. It's like, it's not even like, it doesn't compare to pretty much anything. It's almost like time kind of froze, which it did. And it was kind of, and I almost compare it to, coming out of the tunnel, my first actual like football game at Syracuse and we're playing Penn State in MetLife. I could almost compare it to that because time froze and it's kind of like you're just running through a tunnel and it's like nothing you can even like imagine. Really, it's I can't explain it. It's almost like everything was freezing and you're just kind of like, wow. It was an awesome moment, but there's really no moment that compares to it. Like I said, the best thing I can compare that moment to is when he was born, was, coming through the tunnel, first game against Penn State, where everything time just kind of froze and you're just like, wow, this is happening. So it was an amazing moment, man, but there's nothing that really compares to it, and there's no feeling that I can really say. It's just one of those things, when you go through it, but you just can't explain it.
Darius Kelly hanging out with me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Live from Arizona is where he is, and played for Syracuse for a couple seasons. Pre-Dino Babers era, played under Scott Schaefer at Syracuse University in the early mid 20-teens, and appreciate Darius Kelly being with us as always inside the Cafe Kubal studios. We're going to talk about the football side of things in a second, but like I said, I'm not a dad yet to a human baby, so I have to ask you this question. Number one, Darius, I don't know if you know this, but the dating world today I would rather be in the world of The Walking Dead than to be dating today. I can honestly tell you that. I can tell you that I said this last night, I said, you know how I wind down at night? I watch The Walking Dead because it's less crazy than what's out there in today's world. So it's not a fun time dating, but I hope someday there's actually something good on the other end of the phone, other end of whatever, and I have the opportunity to be a father. Give me, in 16 months of being a dad, your best fatherly advice.
My best fatherly advice, man. As far as, the first 3 months of being dad, you just really don't even worry about trying to get rest because it's not going to happen. That was like probably, those first couple of months of being there with them and, kind of watching them grow were there wasn't a whole lot of rest had for any of us. And I think that was like the hardest part. But after that, man, it's just really just grows on you from there. Like, he's just, you know, the way they start operating, they start seeing you, they start smiling. You know, they start recognizing you as like being someone who's taking care of them. You know, my best advice, really, I would say, man, is just enjoy those little moments. You know, enjoy those times, each stage that they go through. You know, from the infant stage where they're just not moving, they're just kind of just want to eat. From when they start walking and start, you know, making the little noises. And just enjoy those little stages that they go through, you know, because it goes so fast. And, you know, right now he's already, you know, walking, has some big teeth now and, you know, making all these noises and about to start saying little words. You know, just enjoy the moments, because from, you know, 16 months ago to now, it's really has almost turned into a true little human. So just enjoy the little moments as they come.
That coming from Darius Kelly here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Shifting gears from your current time to kind of Tarantino this thing and go back in time. Let's go back to those Syracuse days for you. You had some really awesome moments. You got to play up against the likes of Clemson, which Syracuse has done every season. They're not going to have to play Clemson every year now from at least 2023 to 2026 as they dissolve divisions, and they have 3 permanent teams they play, and then they have a rotation of what's called a 3-5-5. So they will be playing, they'll be playing 3 teams every year, and then they'll be playing half of the rest of the ACC's 10 one year, and then play the other half, those 5, and then every 4 years. So if you stay at Syracuse for 4 years, you're going to play every team twice of the 10 that aren't in your permanent rotation. You'll have a home and home with them, and then you'll have your permanent 3, which for Syracuse are BC and Pitt, which make total sense, and Florida State, which makes absolutely no sense. So looking back at your time, you went up against Clemson. You had some games against them. You had a 20-yard interception return in 2014 against Clemson. What do you remember about the Clemson Tigers and about Death Valley?
I remember it being probably one of the loudest venues that we had ever played in. You know, their fan base was amazing. I do remember the hill not being as big in person as it looked on TV. But no, that playing in Clemson, I was probably one of the funnest times just because of the atmosphere, the fans, you know, where Clemson had always been, seeing them on TV. But, you know, I mean, that's probably, like I mentioned, this is the best venue that I think we played in and the funnest time. But I always enjoy playing the teams that were always highly ranked. You know, us going against them, I think we had the game we played. I want to say the score was 16-9 at the end. So we still, I think us and Clemson and Syracuse playing against them has always been, you know, a tough battle. Ever since I've been there, you know, I think the games have always been within, you know, 14 points or less. So I think, even though it might not be on paper a true rivalry, but I think from the games that I've been a part of till now has always been games that have been, you know, competitive and, you know, worth watching for sure.
Yeah, you know, and you bring it up, and I just spoke with Kroom within the past couple weeks about that game, that defensively, I mean, you guys just had it, right? You had that game. You were just given opportunities and opportunities and opportunities and opportunities to the offense, but the offense just couldn't get anything going. How frustrating was, I mean, you were on your 4th string quarterback with A.J. Long at the time, but, I mean, when you look back at that game, I mean, that was a winnable, and I say this, like you said, it doesn't show up in the win-loss column, but Syracuse-Clemson games on the football field in the ACC have been really, really good. Eric Dungy had a 4th and 8, 4th and 7 in a few years ago where there was an opportunity there. There was an opportunity this season. There was an opportunity in the game that you guys had. There was, I think, all of the last 4 times that Syracuse has been to Clemson, there's been opportunity to come out of there with a victory. First pick six ever in college for Trevor Lawrence came from Syracuse and Garrett Williams. So, when I look back on these games, I agree with you that not only has Syracuse played Clemson well, but you played them well in Death Valley. How frustrating was it? And the statute of limitations is over, so you can tell me this. Was the locker room a little bit disbanded when the defense was like, hey, we gave you 57 opportunities and we couldn't score, hardly anything? I mean, how did that game go for the defense, and how was the locker room afterward when you had Clemson on the ropes, you held them under 20 points, but the offense just could not score in that game?
Yeah, I don't think it was more of, I wouldn't call it more frustrated with us against the offense or us against the it wasn't that, we're not that type of frustrated. I think it was more frustrated because we knew the talent we had. We knew what we could do. We knew, that we could be playing better offensively, and it just wasn't getting done. So it wasn't more of like, oh, the offense this, offense that. It was more of like, man, we're so close. We could be getting this done, and we could be able to win these games if we just, execute it just a little bit better. And that's where the frustration came in, really. But, I mean, obviously, going back on the field, 3 and outs, and I don't care what level you're at, it doesn't get – it's more physically and towards the end of the game becomes more mental battle. So, that's where the frustration came in, is because, we're back on the field and physically you're getting worn down. And towards the end of the game, it becomes, more of a mental thing. And I think, like I mentioned, the circumstances that our offense was in, we're on our fourth-string quarterback. We understand where they were at that time. But, like Coach always said, man, next man up. We just got to get the job done. We just weren't executing at a high level that we knew that we could. But that's where the frustration came in, not of us at each other. And I think the locker room at that time, we were still tight. We were still bonded, and we still thought that we could win football games, and we were still in football games at that time, even though the record didn't show. But I don't think the team gave up on each other. That's for sure. And the frustration just came from us being physically worn down as a defense, to be honest.
We look at, and you talked about, physically being worn down as a defense. No matter how good a defense is, they can't stay on the field the whole game. You guys are human beings. You're not robots. You just brought me into a point that I always look to make and have made, but you played the game. I didn't play Division I FBS football. So no matter how good a defense is, bring me into that side of things, like that fatigue, hey, we've shut them down all game, but we can't be on the field most of the game. You know what I mean? It's bring me into that dynamic of the defense, because that's a theme that comes up a lot in my conversations, but you can paint more reality to it than I can. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that, of when a defense is playing as good as you were in this game, 16-6 on the road against Clemson. Is it, hey, no matter how good we are, you got to stop 3 and outs, like you got to keep us off the field, because fatigue, no matter how good a defense is or how well you prepare or how good of a game you're having, is there truth to the fact that even if a defense is almost perfect, when you're on the field that long, eventually something happens?
Yeah, I mean, I think back to that. You mentioned, the 20-yard interception I had. I think literally the next play, I think we turned the ball over and we were back on the field as a defense. So, just little things like that, it just wears you down mentally. It's like, man, we were just so high with that interception. Now, boom, we're back on the field and have to do it again. It hurts. Like, it hurts you, like, mentally and physically. But, and you can see it at every level, at every single level when it comes to, some offenses struggling. And you look at some NFL games, and the defense is playing at a high level. It's just, really, at the end of the day, you just got to go out there and just do your job. You can't really control what the other side of the ball is doing. And that's just the mindset that our defensive coaches have told us. What we have to do as a defense, if their offense scores more, we got to go out there. If their offense scores all points on us, we got to score points on defense. That's just the way it is. Like, that's just the way you have to look at it when you're on the field. You have to make them score less points than our offense scores. That's our job. That's what we have to do. No matter how many points their offense is putting up, we have to stop their other team's offense from scoring more points at the end of the day. And if it comes down to it, we have to score points on defense to win the game. That's what you have to do, and that's just the mindset that you have to have as a defensive player, no matter who's on the field and how you're doing it. Like, that's just what it is. That's the name of the game. You have to make the opposing team score less points and then you score to win the game. And if you don't have that mindset as a defensive player, no matter even if your offense is playing at a high level, you just won't be successful, period. And, that's just the mindset we had. And so at the end of the day, we gave up more points than our offense scored. So it's nobody's fault but the team's fault at the end of the day.
That coming here from Darius Kelly, Syracuse Orange defensive back, alum, joining me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, live from Arizona. He's coming into us inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You just said it, hey, we have to score on defense. Like, if our offense isn't getting going, and that's how I felt these last few weeks. Syracuse starts off the season 6-0, and since then has gone 0-3, losing to Clemson on the road, and you know what it feels like, painting those parallels here this morning. Then losing to Notre Dame big at home, 41-24, and with the first time that Notre Dame had been in the Dome in a very, very long time. And then in the last time they had been in the Dome, Syracuse won 32-18. So Notre Dame was able to avenge that. And then seeing them go on the road at Pittsburgh, 8 3-and-outs in the game at Pittsburgh. Another low-scoring game. I literally said before the game, this is a game where Pat Narduzzi, the head coach of Pitt, would see a 17-6 game and love it. And then it literally was 17-6 in the third quarter. And I was like, hello. And then they ended up winning 19-9. That game, reminiscent to me of your game against Clemson that we were talking about, 16-6. Do you get, you just said, is that how the defense has to look at it? That during your time at Syracuse and in that Clemson game back on October 25th of 2014, fast forwarding to the parallel of these last few games, including that game, especially against Pitt, that was very reminiscent for me. Does the defense just kind of sit on the sideline and say, hey guys, like, listen, we're going to have to score. We're going to have to get a fumble recovery. We're going to have to block something. We're going to have to, get an interception and return it. Does that just become the mentality of the defense of, yeah, you always want to get a pick and you always want to make a stop, but your team in 2014, fast forward 8 years to the team now and how they played against Pittsburgh, do you get to that point as a defense where you just kind of say, we have to score if we want to win the game?
Absolutely. I think that's where you have to do it, have to have that mindset. And also I look back at, these last 3 losses with Syracuse. The third quarter, just hasn't been good. Hasn't been enough points that they've put up, and that's the mentality of, like, you start off the game well, you start off the second quarter well, and then you go into halftime. And I think that's where, kind of the lull has been with the guys. It's been that third quarter. I think the most points they scored in the third quarter were 3 points in the last couple of games. And I think that's where the game has kind of changed overall. And I think that's where it has to get better for them, is I think coming out in that third quarter, even defensively, have to do a little bit better on the third quarters as a whole. But I think that's where the game has really changed for them in that third quarter.
You bring that up, Darius, and it's an awesome statistic that you brought up here about that. Third quarter against Clemson, Syracuse had 0 points. Third quarter against Notre Dame, Syracuse had 10 points in that Notre Dame coming out in the third quarter. And then when we look at the 19-9 loss against Pittsburgh in their most recent game, Syracuse didn't score. So 10 points over 3 weeks, and going scoreless against Clemson, coming out in the third quarter, going scoreless against Pittsburgh. coming out in the third quarter. What can you say to that? What's your advice to the guys? And what happens in a locker room that you come out sluggish? I mean, do you put that on coaching? Is that lack of enthusiasm? I mean, I know you're not in the locker room right now, but why would a team come out so quiet and only score 10 points in 3 weeks in the third quarter, going scoreless against two of those teams in the third quarter of the last 3 weeks? What is it that happens at halftime that could be debilitating to a team?
Yeah, it could be a combination of a lot of things, Dan. I think, for one, the mindset of when you come out of halftime, it's always tough because you literally you came out so high, the pregame jitters, the pregame, pump up and all the hoorah that happens in the first two quarters, it's all there. The mindset when you come out the third quarter, it has to turn on. You're having to start in a whole new game. I'm sure a lot of football players say this, a lot of teams say this. When you come out, the score is 0-0 at halftime. It really is, and that's the mindset you have to have. It has to be 0-0 when you come out at halftime, and it could just come down to we're doing so great. We're doing so great in the first two quarters. Maybe we don't need to make as much adjustments coming out the third quarter. That could be a combination of that as well. You come out hot, you're doing everything, you're executing, all the plays you want it to work in the first two quarters are working. And as a coach, like I mentioned, I coached football, I coached at college level as well. If things are working, you're not going to change it. But the other team, they're making adjustments, they're doing those things, to slow you down. And they're executing when they do the third or fourth quarter. And it just sometimes it comes down to that. And, like I mentioned, the mindset for one as a player has to be that hoorah, just like you're coming out the tunnel in the first quarter. And, it has to have those things where you're making adjustments, because if the team is making adjustments, they're trying to figure you out. And, just getting figured out in the third or fourth quarter, it happens. And, so it just comes down to that mindset and having those things and making adjustments on the go.
That 10 to 15 minutes in the locker room at halftime is blank. Fill in that blank for me.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how you're doing in the first half. It depends how you're doing in the first half. That 10 to 15 minutes. And honestly, I don't really like the 10 to 15 minutes. I don't like halftimes. I never liked halftime. So I do understand the fun, like how and why some of those things happen. But because I've never really liked stopping and going in and basically just sitting down and getting tight again, getting warm and having to get warmed back up. I never liked that type of feeling for myself. But the halftime really, truly, it really depends on how that first half went. If things are going well, morale is super high. Things aren't going so well, depending on the team, the morale is still going to be high. It's going to be a positive. But, those, to me, it just depends on how things went in that first half, how that halftime is going to, kind of be. So,
Darius Kelly, Syracuse Orange DB alum. Spent a couple seasons with the Orange, but you got to say that you got a bowl victory in the Texas Bowl. So when you reflect on that, I mean, Syracuse getting to the postseason has been a difficult thing over the last few decades. You can say that you've been there, and you can say that you've won it. You have a ring. Going back to the Texas Bowl, fondest memory of going up against Minnesota and just advancing to that, having a 7-6 season and getting above 500 with that bowl win, just what that means to you, because there are people that say there's so many bowl games, they don't matter anymore, or only the college football playoff matters. To a team to get to a bowl game and advance to the postseason, get those extra practices, get that extra time, go to a change of scenery, in most cases for Syracuse, go to nicer weather in the middle of winter. What did it mean or deep fall into winter, but just what it means to you to go to a bowl game and win a bowl game, having done it? Because a lot of people have opinions on it, but you can reflect and say, hey, I spent a couple of years at Syracuse, and I went to the postseason, won a game, I got a ring. There's some weight to that, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at it, during that time, I didn't really think of it as a really, really big deal, because, winning and going to a bowl game, the way we did it, it kind of just felt normal. And it felt like this is, how it should be. There's no reason why we shouldn't be there. So looking back at it, I really do think it was a huge deal for us. And looking at the way we did it, winning at the last play of the game against Boston College, it was a huge deal for us just because how tough that season was for us and us just playing some tough games, So it was, looking back, like I mentioned, the experience was everything that I would want as a college football player, no question about it. And not having the opportunity the season after really made me really appreciate going to those bowl games, doing the travel, hanging out with the team in a whole new scenery, like you mentioned, and, playing a team outside of the conference, a team that, normally wouldn't play, and going against different players and a different fan base, I really look at that moment and say, wow, that was a true experience that every college football player should have the opportunity to experience it. And I'd say at the time, I really just took it. I didn't take it for granted, but I didn't really take it all in as much as I think I should have, just because it felt so normal for us to just be doing that. This is, it's college football. We're playing, winning games. We should be going to a bowl game, but the season after, obviously, we didn't go to a bowl game. So it was like, man, I would do anything to get that opportunity back again. So I truly enjoy the bowl games. I think they're a major part of college football, and I still think they're important to a lot of players. And I think every college football player should have the opportunity to experience it for sure.
And coming from Darius Kelly. Darius, before I let you go, Syracuse, as we mentioned, on a 3-game skid here, rolling backwards, started 6-0, 0-3 since then. Bowl eligible in the first half of the season by winning 6 games. They're going to a bowl game no matter what, but how do you stop the skid? How do you, having been on a collegiate team and having coached after playing, how do you take these losing streaks and stop them, put them on a halt here, and prevent it from eating away at you? We look back on the 2014 season that you had at Syracuse, and the team had a 4-game losing streak and then defeated Wake Forest at Wake 30-7, ended the season on a 5-game losing streak. So you know what it's like to go through this and have the rolling losses. How do you stop the loss from happening again? How does Syracuse get back on the winning side of things and not backpedal into a bowl game?
Yeah, for one, it really just starts with the mindset. I'm going to keep saying that, but part of that, it starts with the mindset in the locker room. It starts with the leaders in there. They just kind of take control and just get back to a winning attitude. I don't think they've taken step backs on with how they're playing or their attitude. I really don't think that's happening. Just off of what Dino Babers has been talking about. He's doing a really good job of keeping those guys positive. It seems like they're really playing hard, just not executing on those little things. And they just got to get back to executing. And that's the biggest thing you got to do is execute. But to stop the bleeding, man, you just got to take it 1 week at a time. You can't look at, oh man, we lost last week. Oh man, we could have won that game 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks before that. You got to look at the game that you had. You can't look at, you go back to Clemson. Oh man, we almost beat Clemson. Man, almost beat Clemson, but then you come back the next week, probably still thinking about the week before, and you're doing that again the next week, and you're thinking about the week before, what we could have did there. But you literally have to look at what's in front of you and look at the game that you have at hand and really take in everything that you got to do and just prepare for that team and execute and not necessarily think about what's happened the weeks before, because the minute you start thinking about what we could have did better the week before, that's where you're going to stumble and fall because you're not paying attention to the teams that you're playing in front of you, the team that you have in hand. They have a game this week against next week against Florida State. That's a winnable game for them, and I think they have is a chance and an opportunity for them to go out there and win and just go do that. So just look at the game at hand. Forget about what's happened the weeks before, and just go have fun and go play the game that you love and execute. That's really it.
Darius, and I appreciate that. I appreciate those words, and I know Syracuse football players throughout history, past, present, and future, always welcome on the show, and I know that a bunch have listened, and I appreciate that, and I hope the current roster is listening. I hope the mob is making sure they spend a little bit of time here on Wake Up Call, because good words coming from Darius Kelly to you gentlemen on how you stay focused, stay clear, stay fresh, and start off this week 0-0. I have to ask you this. I spoke with Eric Kroom about it. I love that Kroom brought this up, because I brought it up to the gentleman that was on your team. I said it to him over and over again. He's one of my favorite players in Syracuse history, and also I think one of Syracuse's biggest missteps, blunders, and fumbles in their history. And that is the fact, and I love that Kroom brought this up without me saying it, which showed, like, in the moment that he was like, hey, I felt this way in the locker room because I felt the way outside of the locker room. And that is the realization for me that Adonis Amin Moore was one of the most mishandled, misrepresented, underappreciated, disrespected players in Syracuse football history. And I have to get your thoughts on it, because I'm not saying this like Adonis is listening or sitting in the room with me. I am to the point where years later, I'm going to wear a shirt saying Free Adonis. I mean, what the heck happened in this locker room and on this team and in practice? Kroom is on the defensive side going, bro, we got this big old dude here, just a burly back, running like crazy in Colorado, leading Colorado, and coming to Syracuse, and he could have done all these things and wreaked havoc, and our offense wasn't moving. We should have put him out there and let it happen. I said it to Adonis. Adonis and I had a heart-to-heart when he almost transferred. So Adonis and I talked about stuff. Eric Kroom and I talked about stuff. Now I have the opportunity to speak with you about it. Adonis is a forever teammate of yours. Did Syracuse mishandle this, and did they miss the boat on Adonis Amin Moore?
Oh man, big back, man. He was a load, man. I just remember back in practice, I just really, we have this period in practice called third period, and as a defensive player, it's not actually a fun thing to do. Where you're just literally just going to go wrap somebody up. And you're going to go wrap somebody up like Adonis Amin Moore, who's, I don't know, probably about 250. I mean, he's low to the ground, strong, and having to go up and hit him, I'm 5'11", at the time, probably about 195, having to go wrap this guy up as a DB, and when he comes through the hole, it's just not a fun thing to do. So I can only imagine, as other teams who don't play against him every day, who don't have an opportunity to understand how he is as a player, would not have a fun time trying to tackle him. And, he was a really good player, really good guy that, he had a lot of reps in practice. And he made us better as a defense for sure. I would think he would have at least needed 10 carries a game. Each game, no matter what, just because of how, of a much of a load he was and how much he cared about the game. So, I could agree. I could agree with the Kroom. I never want to go against the coach's decision. Me being a former coach or a coach myself, I don't want to, sit here and do that. But I do think that Adonis probably should have got a little bit more opportunity, just because of, I think of how much of an impact player he could have been for us, for sure, because of just how much I didn't want to tackle him. So I can imagine other teams didn't want to tackle him.
Yeah. So free AD, baby. Those shirts going to be coming from Wake Up Call. And a last thing here, you got to play at MetLife twice, and so you got to have that home game that transferred over to East Rutherford, New Jersey, and New York City area. You got to play Notre Dame. You got to play Penn State. The picture I have up on YouTube and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, as we're talking, that graphic that everybody's seeing is one of the tackles you made against Notre Dame. Bring me into getting to play Notre Dame, getting to play Penn State, the pedigree and the history of those institutions, and the fact that you got to play these MetLife games in an NFL stadium.
Yeah, go back to the Penn State one. That was my first, real Division I college football game. And, always watching Penn State on TV, coming out and seeing the all white across the stadium and how loud it was. And, that was, like I mentioned when we first started the show, that was a moment where time really just stopped, to be honest, coming out. And even on the first kickoff, going down there, and I just remember me going down and running down, seeing myself on film the next day, and I was the first one down the field, even though missed the tackle, but my adrenaline was so high running down the field. I couldn't believe how fast I was actually running. And, it was an amazing moment, seeing going against them. And the Notre Dame game, always going out pretty much watching them and seeing the gold helmets was an amazing opportunity. So those two games and the history behind those two teams, I am forever grateful that I had an opportunity to play in those two games for sure. And just to see the history and, I think, seeing those gold helmets was definitely seeing the gold helmets against the Notre Dame and seeing the all white when I came out against Penn State was definitely one of my better college moments.
That coming here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Cabal Studios with Darius Kelly, DB alum of the Syracuse Orange, coming to us from Arizona this morning. Darius, as always, I appreciate it. Appreciate the time. Love our friendship and have missed you. You've been on the West Coast for a long time, and I've been traveling all over the place, but haven't been out there to Arizona yet. So we're going to have to figure out. I know that God is a very unique and comedic the way that he makes things happen. I feel like I'll be flying through like Richmond, Virginia, and bump into you while I'm getting a sandwich or something like that. But I do hope that you and I get to see each other soon because I miss you. I always appreciate your smile and appreciate the time we've gotten to spend together, the shows that we've done on site on location, the ones we've done over the phone, and really just the conversation. And I know that you remember this, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say it. You'll always be my Kevin Hart. So, that the smile is very similar, and we also joke around a lot. So, but I can't thank you enough for the friendship and for the time, and you've definitely been missed. So I hope that we get a chance to see each other soon.
Absolutely. I hope we definitely get to cross paths again, and I'm sure it'll happen. The world's too small, so I'm sure we'll cross paths there soon.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, Darius Kelly here on the broadcast. Baby Bo, 16 months. So very excited for him. Please give him my love. Give him a hug from Uncle Dan, and let him know that just love him up like I know that you do. He's got a good dad, and I look forward to continuing to see his growth in our conversation. Can't wait to have you on again soon. And once again, my friend, congratulations on being a father.
I appreciate that, Dan. Thank you.
All right, man. I'll talk with you soon.
All right, talk soon.
Take care. That coming from Darius Kelly. One more time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It's my dude. And Baby Bo getting it done. 16 months. What? Man, is a year and 4 months old already? Crazy. I feel like he was just born like 2 months ago. It's crazy how... It's funny because people ask me about my nieces and nephews, and they're like, how old are they now? And I literally have to go, are they 3 or are they 7? Because it literally is like, it just happens. It's like baby, adult. And it's just crazy. And so, definitely appreciate your time. That's what every single parent has told me anywhere. Every single person on this planet that has a child has said to me, they grow up way too fast. So make sure you enjoy your time together with your kids. I enjoy my time with my kid, Miss Lily, my little sweet pup, and I love her to pieces. And if she's the only child I ever have, I'm overblessed. And if I have the opportunity to have more, I'm overblessed. So I look forward to whatever God has in store for me, and I look forward to what God has in store for you. Speaking of what's in store, we have our positive, uplifting round out of every Tuesday show called The Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's. That's coming up after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. So stay with us.
Carvel DeWitt.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbeeville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, New York is where you'll find Cafe Kubal. You also find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-through location, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', we had a fantastic time with Bethann Shapiro-Ord joining us from the Binghamton Bearcats women's basketball team on the heels of them winning their season and home opener last night. Then we went into by Syracuse Q&As with head coach Jim Boeheim, remembering Jake Krauthamel, the longtime AD of Syracuse from 1977 to 2005, an integral part of the dome being built on campus, as well as being a founding member of the Big East Conference. And we also had the opportunity to speak on Symir Torrence and Judah Mintz being in the same lineup. Then I got to welcome Judah Mintz to Wake Up Call for the first time ever, have Symir Torrence come back, Justin Taylor, who had his first time on Wake Up Call a day before, come back onto the show again after this win over Lehigh and him scoring his first ever collegiate basket, and that coming from a turnaround jump shot on the right side of the free throw line. And then to unveil the Red Light District moniker and nickname that I have for Jesse Edwards, Darius Kelly just joined the show, and we spoke on a ton of great things that I think would be great for the team currently at Syracuse, for Syracuse football to listen to, and more than anything else, being a father and friendship. And now that leads us into the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by the fantastic people at Avicolli's. The Ingredients to Success, a positive segment coming to you to round out the show every single Tuesday. Brought to you by Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Minutes walking distance from Liverpool High School. And you can go there Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. As always, drink responsibly. And Avicolli's fantastic margarita pizza, meat lovers pizza is what you're seeing on screen on YouTube and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT. You're also going to get fantastic veal. Literally everything I've had there's been good. Seafood, the chicken, meat, whatever's out there has been absolutely wonderful, and I'm a big, big fan. So make sure you get out to Avicolli's and get there before I do, because that barbecue chicken pizza is probably not going to be there if you get there after me. The ingredients to success. The topic of the day today is to vote your conscience. That's the topic of today. Vote your conscience. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm not going to tell you. See, I don't believe in color. I don't. I believe in politics, you need to be colorblind. I believe when it comes to people, you need to be colorblind. And what I mean by that is we're all people. Regardless of party, regardless of nationality, regardless of whatever, we're all people. And the quicker we know that and understand that, the quicker we'll understand we all want the same things. So vote for the person that's going to protect your safety. Vote for the person that's going to protect your families. Vote for the person that doesn't just give you free money, but actually values what's behind that money: hard work, dedication, and determination. Vote for someone who's going to help to keep the streets safe, that's going to be for good education, that's going to be for healthy, clean drinking water, clean air. Somebody who wants to repair our roads and doesn't just talk about infrastructure, because that's a word that gets thrown around all the time that I think means absolutely nothing. Vote for the person that's going to protect your right to free speech and your right to freedom of religion. A person that's going to protect your ability to do what you love and love what you do. When it comes to being a human being, we want to be safe, healthy, have enough money to do what we want to do, and be able to do some other things, right? Go on vacation, buy a gift for somebody we love. We want to live in a safe neighborhood. We want to have healthiness in all ways, right? We want to make enough money. We want to have food in the kitchen, drink in the house, shelter, and clothes on our backs. We're not as different as the media tells us we are. So my ingredients to success today when it comes to voting is vote your conscience. Do your research. Don't let people push you into voting somewhere. Don't let somebody peer pressure you or threaten you into voting somewhere. Don't vote somewhere because you're afraid or because someone's picketing. Vote your conscience. Do your research. If you are of age to vote, vote. And before you go in there, do your research. Look things up. Okay? This isn't a joke. This isn't funny. This isn't high school. This isn't grammar school, which I don't even think you should vote popularity or because of peer pressure there either. These are our governors. These are our mayors. These are our representatives. These are our senators and our congresspeople. These are our judges, our sheriffs. These people make decisions that can affect your life for the rest of your life. When you vote today, and please do it, vote for who your heart guides you to. Clear your mind. And if you have to, don't talk to anybody. Don't talk to mom or dad or your brother or whatever. vote today because it's our right. There are countries that would love to have the right to vote, that would love to be able to have an opinion. There are people that feel muzzled every day of their life, suffocated every day of their life. Don't disrespect them by not voting. And when you vote today, don't vote because someone forced you to vote for that person. Don't vote out of fear. Never do anything out of fear, prejudice, racism, sexism, or peer pressure. Vote for the person that you think is best for the job. Vote with a clear conscience, and if you don't vote, don't ever have an opinion, because you give up your opinion by not voting. There are people that have no legs, no arms. There's people that can not get to a voting booth by themselves, and they're the first ones in line. Do not make excuses for this country, and do not make excuses for yourself. We need positive change. And I can't tell you if it's going to come from here, there, or wherever. But I can tell you I'm doing my research. I can tell you I'm standing in line. And I can tell you I'm going to do the best that I can do today to vote for the people that are going to make this country a better place. Because if you think this country's a good place right now, you've lost your mind. So this is not a party thing. This is not a color thing of are you red or blue or green or whatever your party is. This comes down to, do you love this country? Do you love your family? Do you love yourself? And in that respect, I hope you do, and I hope you'll vote today. And God bless the people that are trying to make this world a better place. With that being said, I thank you for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, as well as on youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt worldwide, and on facebook.com/livenowdt. Once the shows go live, you can catch us in the archives, and there's a ton of broadcasts that just got added this week into the archives on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Thanks to our incredible partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicolli's, PB&J's Lunchbox, Von Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Honda City of Liverpool, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Watertown, that just opened a few weeks ago and has already been incredibly successful thanks to you. And, of course, Mother's Cupboard, a staple of Syracuse. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner as well of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Tune in to Dolphin Time every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time to start off Wake Up Call right in the middle of the week. Every first and third Wednesday, we have AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, bringing you Dolphin Dive with student athletes, as well as coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni, all gracing the stage of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can check out our archive by going to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com and by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. We've been doing bonus specials like crazy, and we just had one with Tom Bonus yesterday for a special Dolphin Dive outside of our typical Wednesday time at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We had a trio of conversations with Bob Beretta last week with a ton of success for the Lemoyne Dolphins, so be sure to be with us every single week. Throughout the week, you never know what's going to happen, but you know if it's got to do with Lemoyne, it's coming here first on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. For more information on your Dolphins, go to their newly redesigned website on LeMoyneDolphins.com. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are also exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Catch your Bobcats every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with special features with student athletes, administration, and coaches. We're going to see them off as the women's soccer team and the men's soccer team look to defend their reigning national titles, both of them reigning national champions of 2021. They're heading off to Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I'm going to get to do a lot of special things with them this week that you're not going to want to miss. All of our exclusive content with the Bobcats can be found on the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and search our Bobcat Buzz material for exclusives there. And for more information on the Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Making history with the Bobcats and having Clay Gagan, Sherman, and Tay Baker on the show yesterday to celebrate their first ever wins in those Bobcat Buzz specials. So we've already started off the week with a lot of Bobcat love, and we continue to do that throughout the year. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. From the Cafe Kubal Studios, decked out with all this fantastic, wonderful, witty wicks, beautiful, awesome things. The Apple Maple Bourbon Candle that we have not burned here yet in the studio. Got a lot of great stuff here in our studio. An Autumn and Cuse candle that is here as well. Head out to Witty Wicks today. Just celebrated their 11-year anniversary and 4th in Township 5. You can go and find them on 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York, right in front of Movie Tavern, and at wittywicks.com. Big thanks to Bethann Shapiro-Ord for joining me. And from Syracuse, a big thanks to the men's basketball team head coach Jim Boeheim in his 47th season. Judah Mintz coming onto the show for the first time ever. Symir Torrence, Justin Taylor, and Jesse Edwards. A big thanks to Darius Kelly, and congrats again on being a father. And a thanks to the Ingredients to Success, brought to you by one of the best companies we have and are spoiled to have in Central New York. That being Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Head out there today for lunch, dinner, and drinks. And as always, drink responsibly. Have a fantastic